All right, what's up, everybody? So I have this cool extra credit opportunity that I wanted to throw your way. This afternoon, Sean Callahan, my old college friend, sent me a message about an event that he is organizing. And given our new unit on justice and our focus on laws and politics and all of the questions that we have been thinking about this year in AP Lang, I wanted to invite you to this extra credit opportunity that Sean is organizing. There's a lot of connections that we'll talk about and you'll hear about, but let me turn it over to Sean. Why don't you just introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about your organization and the event that's coming up.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayers. Sean Callahan. I am a volunteer with a nonprofit called American Promise. It's a national nonprofit, but we have state-based chapters all over the country, and I'm helping to run up the Massachusetts chapter. And our goal as a nonprofit is to advocate for a 28th Amendment to the Constitution, which would allow us to regulate campaign spending and election financing, particularly by corporations and big money donors who right now have basically no restrictions on how much money and where they donate their money to different political causes and campaigns.
Mm-hmm. So one thing that I talk a lot about and have talked a lot about with the AP Lang students is essentially the idea that, it's very easy, especially as a high school student, and after high school and college, or I don't know, anyone really, it's easy to feel disconnected from politics, right? And so like your voice doesn't matter, like your vote doesn't matter. And there's a lot of reasons for that. And so when I saw this email about because I know campaign finance reform is like a major reason why people feel disconnected from politics. And I wonder if you could talk a little bit about why that is and what, in your view, what this amendment would achieve.
Yeah, definitely. So campaign finance reform, right? It feels like elected officials serve big corporate interests or special interest groups or, entities that are not you and I, not voters out there casting our one vote and maybe donating our $20 to an elected official. And that's, I think, the big problem. Right now, there's a pay for play system where if you can donate a bunch of money to an issue or to a campaign, then you get your back scratched a little more by the elected officials who then want to serve on your behalf as opposed to the regular voter. And so this has been borne out over the last decade or so, where every election cycle you see higher and higher spending. I got served ads from the Georgia Senate runoff to contribute to a campaign in Georgia. I live in Massachusetts. It's just, year after year, election after election, the money is going up and up, which disconnects the voters and their elected officials. And so the reason we want an amendment specifically is that there was a Supreme Court decision in 2010 that basically said that corporations have the same rights as people and money can act as political speech and you can't regulate any of it. And the only way to undo a Supreme Court decision like that is either for the Supreme Court to undo it by itself, which is unlikely, or to pass an amendment that will establish new laws and allow us to regulate things differently. So it takes a long time to pass amendments. It's a big effort, but it's important for regular citizens and especially young people to get involved with it because it's not just voting that are our rights. We also have the right to lobby elected officials. We have the right to gather and to assemble, which is not just protests. It's also, having discussions about where we want the country to go and what sort of things we'd like to see our elected officials do. Those are really powerful things because when we act as a group, we have a lot more buying power, so to speak. We can influence things a little more powerfully than just going and logging our vote once in a while. Yeah. And I might also just add that if you're a high school student now, by the time this amendment passes, you might be a voting member of society. It might take a couple of years. So this is stuff that you could get in on early, educate yourself, and get involved with at the ground level.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit about the event.
Yeah, so the event is on the 11th. We have a Massachusetts chapter, which has a bunch of different volunteers and people from different areas who are interested in this stuff. And we figured that this would be a good opportunity for us to reinvigorate the chapter and to get some speakers on board, and also just talk about what initiatives we want to have, we want to focus on for the next year and going forward. One of the impetuses for this event was a 2018 ballot question where the state voted to allow a citizens commission. Basically, the state voted to have a group of people go and research this issue and publish a report that makes certain recommendations for it. And so that happened. We have this report that was published. That's done. And now everyone's kind of like, all right, what's next? What can we do? And so that's what we want to do, is organize an event to point people in the right direction. And we're excited about this in particular because we do have 2 congressional representatives who will be joining the call, Representative Jim McGovern and Seth Moulton. We also have the Attorney General of the state, Maura Healey. And in addition, we have Harvard professor Danielle Allen, who is a chairperson for an American Academy of Arts and Sciences, which is this big think tank. And she's also someone who's considering a governor run for the state, possibly down the line. So people who are, movers and shakers and influencers, along with a bunch of local people who are just interested in working on this issue and pushing it forward.
Awesome. Why? Okay, I'm an 11th grade student. I got a lot of things on my social calendar. Why should I come on the 11th at 5 p.m. to listen to this call?
Because you get extra credit for it.
That's true. That is true.
No, I think you should come because this is a really unique opportunity to get in the weeds and get your hands dirty a little bit with some of this political work. I mean, I've never met with any representatives, any congressional representatives. I've never spoken to my delegates. And, I'm a chairperson for this nonprofit. I've been, somewhat politically active. It's not often that you get to sort of have a direct interface with some of these people who are doing some of this work. And also it helps you be a little more connected to your politics. Like, you can't, it's not this simple, but you can't really complain about the direction of a country if you're not also willing to go and, make your voice heard and do some of the influencing work that goes beyond only just voting. It's, there's more to it than that, but it's an opportunity to shape your community.
Yeah, man, I appreciate that. And I totally agree. And so those of you AP Lang students out there who looking to boost your grade a little bit in quarter 3, 11th, right? The 11th, you said? That's what?
Yep, February 11th at 5 p.m.
Thursday at 5 p.m.
Thursday at 5 p.m. Yep. And Mr. Mayers, before we part, I also just want to make this connection to, I know you've been doing some work on justice, and it's Black History Month. And, I think that there is a connection to these 2 issues, because ultimately people who run corporations and have the access to wealth that would influence politicians are typically wealthy white men. And that doesn't include a lot of minorities and other segments of society who would basically get shut out of politics if money is the only thing that matters, right?
And have been, and we've seen it happen in the past. Yeah,
exactly. That's how it used to be. White landowners were the people who were the political class, and we don't want to go back to that. So I think that's a good connection to make too.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. So Thursday, February 11th, 5 p.m. I'll be there. I would be excited to jump in on the call and just listen and see how it goes. So thanks, Sean, for organizing, and we'll see you Thursday.
Thanks, Jimmy. I hope to see you guys there.
All right, man. You too.